Alright, so for this video I'm doing a bit of a keyboard upgrade. We're going from the Razer Ornata V3X to the Razer BlackWidow V3. So right off the bat here, I think some of the differences are pretty clear, but the BlackWidow here is different in a lot of ways. Alright, so this is a mechanical keyboard. It has Razer green switches. You can see the picture of the green switch right there. Double shot ABS keycaps, an ergonomic wrist rest, and also something that's a pretty big deal for me is cable routing options, and I'll show that later in the video. It says transparent switch housing, multi-function digital roller and media key, which is right there. And this will also work with the Razer Synapse app, and that's why I got this, to just kind of keep it in the family. Because I like being able to use the same software for my mouse and keyboards and all that stuff. Alright, so now that we looked over the box, I think it's time to open this thing. Alright, let's see what's in here. Oh wow, okay. Well, that's actually kind of cool. They actually have like plastic covering this instead of like the bag plastic stuff that you get. And here's the instructions. Do a quick once over of the instructions here. It says maximize your device with Razer Synapse, and I'll show you a little bit of the lighting and stuff of how that works with that too. And it just basically shows you the things that you need to know how to use your keyboard. You know, the routing options and how to use the wrist rest and all that stuff. But if you're gonna get this, I'll leave most of this to you to see because, well, me reading a little booklet to you is not very interesting, is it? And this is a card that says thank you for choosing Razer, and then it gives you some sort of protect your Razer gear today thing to go and I guess get some sort of protection. But we're not here for the literature. We're here for the keyboard. Let's take a look at this here. Let's see, how do we get this out even? Oh wow, this is actually packaged pretty well. I'm gonna have to pull this out like this. Okay. The box is gonna have to go. Good enough. I like these. Nice and protected. Alright, so here we have the wrist rest. Alright, that's pretty cool looking. Has the Razer logo on it there, and on the back it has some grippy things to keep it from sliding around. Now I don't know if this is magnetic. We'll have to check that here in just a second. All right, now let's get this plastic off of here and check this thing out. Here we have it. Oh, that thing's pretty cool. Check that out. The little roller thing. It's not as loose as I expected it to be. It actually feels pretty good, and it clicks too. And like I was saying, the routing options is really cool, and it's a pretty big deal for me. So this thing, what it does is it'll let you unclip it from here and route it down through here so it comes out either side. You can feel it kind of grip as you do it, because since it's built in down here, you don't have that little nubby thing that sticks out, but you can do it however you want. It doesn't seem to be magnetic or anything, so they just kind of rest up against each other on your desk like that. I doubt they're going to move around much because they have the feet on them, so it should work fine. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll plug it in, we'll check out the lighting, and we'll also see what it sounds like to type on and everything. So let me get it plugged in and we'll check it out. Okay, so when I did plug this in a minute ago, Razer Central comes up and it will look like this. I already have an account and I already have everything ready to go, but if anything needs an update like mine does, it'll let you know. So let me do that real quick. So while that's updating, we can look at this thing a little bit more. And on the back here, you can see that it has some feet. Just like the other one, it has a little one and a big one on both sides, believe it or not. So what I noticed on my other one though, that the littler ones were kind of weak. So let me sit these down. We'll try the big ones first. And yeah, it feels pretty sturdy. It doesn't collapse on itself. Now let me try the smaller ones and we'll see how that feels. Yeah, these feel a lot sturdier. My other one had a weak one where it would collapse. Now yours might, it might not, I don't know, but do be aware that sometimes that can happen. This one seems okay. And the update needs me to restart my computer. Of course it does. All right, so that's all done now. And as you can see here in the Razer app, you can see that it recognizes the keyboard right away. So let's click on that. And here you can kind of program all the keys to do all kinds of different stuff. There's all kinds of different options over here, and you can click each key individually. Down here you can turn on gaming mode, which will disable your little Windows button there, and you can also set it to enable in-game, or you can do it on the keyboard itself by clicking the function and the little G button, and you can see that they work together that way. But what I'm more interested in is the lighting. So let's check this out. Right now it's just doing kind of a spectrum cycling thing here. So let's go ambient awareness. So it changes according to what it sees on your screen, I guess. So there's my wallpaper and you can see the colors match that. And when I bring this back, it tries to match the colors of what it sees on the screen. Audio meter will change, I think, according to like what you're listening to. Okay, so I have music playing in the background and you can see it's kind of doing something. I don't know how noticeable it is that it's reacting to the music. but it's still a cool option to have. Next, we have breathing. Since it's almost Christmas time when I'm making this video, we'll go green and red. There's green. And there's red. That took a little while. And then here we have fire, which might be kind of cool. It does kind of resemble fire a little bit. That's kind of neat. I like that. And next we have reactive. Okay, this is really cool. Check this out. That is really cool. I like that. Also, don't worry, if you can't hear how it sounds really well right now, in a little bit we'll try it with the mic filters off so you can really hear what it sounds like. Next is ripple, and it reacts from where you press it on the keyboard. That's really cool. And then spectrum cycling, I think we can understand what that is. It'll just slowly fade to, you know, whatever color it wants to. Let's check out starlight. Okay, this one is interesting. Oh, look at that. That one's really cool too. And you can see here that it will let you change the color. So how about instead of green, we'll go blue, and then we'll make one, how about white? And we'll change it to short. I absolutely love this. Now there are some things about this keyboard that I kind of don't like, and I'll talk about them in a minute, but stuff like this is, I don't know, this makes me like it a lot more. And we'll just hit random color here real quick to see what that looks like. That one's pretty cool too. I kind of like that. I think this thing might be a lot more customizable than I thought. Each letter is showing up as different colors. Like if you notice, one letter will show up differently. So it's not like, okay, this is a zone and this is a zone. Each key can be a different color. Okay, and static is obviously just one solid color, and you can pick what color you want it to be there. And wave, you can tell it which way you want the colors to go, left or right, and it's just like it says, it's a wave of color. And then finally we have wheel. I'm curious what wheel is. Oh, it just spins. The real meat and potatoes here is using the advanced settings. All right, I've had a few months actually to get used to using this Chroma Studio, so I figured I'll put this part in this video instead of the old part because, well, I know what I'm doing better now, so let me show you some stuff. This is how I have my keyboard set up right now. What that is right there is static and starlight put together, and I will show you what I mean here in just a moment. But the Chroma Studio will allow you to be really creative. Okay, so this is the way I have it set up currently. You can see here I have static and I have starlight. So if I take starlight off, then it's just how I set it up. And you can do these colors individually. You can click each key and change the color of it. But if I take that off, then you can see it shows nothing, and then you can turn starlight on. You'll see how that kind of goes together and works like that. Okay, but what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go up to here and we're gonna hit add, and we're gonna start with basically nothing. So right here you see spectrum cycling is going, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit static, and then we're gonna go over here and delete the spectrum cycling. So right now it's static and there's nothing, and we got a blank slate to work with. So if you wanted to add color, you could use the paint bucket and it'll do every key all at once, but you can also go to the pen and do each key individually. So if you wanted to draw a line through here, you would click and it'll kind of leave like a green trail behind a little bit like this. And then when you let go, you'll see it all. But you can also take, you know, another color and just kind of click any key you want, and it will also make those keys that color. So you could get extremely creative with this. So if you wanted, you could hit the paint bucket for blue, make every key that's not already colored blue. The ones you already colored, it will add as a group. So you want to make them blue, click that, and the red one's blue, and you want to start with like that and then add something to that. You could hit red and then hit your pen, and if you just wanted WASD to be a certain color to help you when you're playing games, you would hit save, and then on your keyboard you'll see there that WASD is now red and everything else is blue. So this is really cool, and you can play with this and do so many things, and sometimes it's fun to just sit and see what you can come up with. Okay, so now I think is a good time to take the filters off the mic and type on this thing so you can get a good idea what it's going to sound like. Okay, so let's just see what this thing sounds like when I just kind of hit a bunch of different keys. All right, and then up close to the mic. And you can see that shift and some of the buttons sound slightly different, but for the most part, they're all the same. Regular keys, shift, spacebar. So So when you're typing, it does have a nice clickiness to it, and I think it feels pretty good, like probably what you would imagine a mechanical keyboard to feel like. So something I want to test real quick too is what this is like to play a game. How loud it is, will you hear it on the mic? If I put the filters back on, is it going to mess with the way my voice sounds when the mic hears the keyboard? Will my fingers get stuck on anything as I'm using it? Because like I said, I'm used to the lower keys. So let's give that a shot real quick. Okay, so I'm just going to move around here a little bit, and I'm going to talk and play for a moment, just so you can get an idea of what this is sound like when you're playing a game. And like I said, the background noise suppression is turned off, so you should be able to hear kind of anything happening around me, any buttons I'm pressing, and stuff like that, just to get kind of a good idea of what it'll be like if you were to use this for yourself. Okay, so now what I want to do though is turn the noise suppression back on, and I want to hear if when I'm talking and these buttons are being pressed, if you can actually hear them, or if it's making my voice sound strange because it's trying to filter out the clicks and stuff in the background. Because if you're a streamer and you do use certain things like that, and you know, if that's a problem, then that's something that you would want to be aware of for sure. It might not even be that big of a deal though. So it might be coming through just fine. I have no idea, and I won't know until I listen to this back. Okay, so I just listened to that back, and I didn't really notice any weird noises or anything. In fact, I think having the noise suppression on just made it so it was more tolerable, and it didn't really affect the microphone seemingly that at all. I mean, even if it did, it wasn't very noticeable to me anyway. But now, it is time to talk about the things I don't like about this. On my old keyboard here, you can see the routing options aren't quite as strict. When you have it set to come out here, it's not such a sharp angle. This one is way more strict, and if you do want to bring it down here and bring it up through that hole at the end, it is just such a hard angle that I'm afraid it's going to damage the cord if I were to use it that way. So I'm probably always going to have it like this and just run it off to the side. So that's kind of beef number one here. The second thing that keeps this from being like the perfect keyboard, where these keys are, it's very high. You can see in my old keyboard how low the keys are right here. Your wrist can kind of rest here pretty easily. Now with this one, when you're typing, you feel that edge scrape against your arm a lot. And it's not very pleasant, and what will happen is when I was typing earlier, I was accidentally pressing a lot of keys just with my wrist and the bottom of my hand, just because I'm not used to how high and sharp of an edge this has here. And it would take me a while to get used to that. Now, if that's something you're used to and it's not a problem for you, then that won't matter at all. And if you are able to use this, that might change that a little bit. Let me put this here. That helps. That definitely helps. Using the wrist rest is a game changer. When I put that here and I type, that's not an issue at all. But keep in mind, if you're like me and you don't really have the space for the wrist rest because your desk is kind of small, you won't be able to use that, and you'll kind of have to raise your hand or just be I have big hands, so it's easy for me to work around this. If you have small hands, you might not be able to, so just keep that in mind. Now, there's really nothing else I don't like about this, but I think that pretty much covers everything. Hopefully this video helped you one way or the other, whether to get it or to not. Hopefully it was at least informative. I had a lot of fun making it. Hopefully you had fun watching it, and if you did watch this video, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me, and maybe I'll see you around on the internet again someday. Later.